Scientists introduce a new scale for assessing near-death experiences. Is the military using lucid dreams? Astral projection through the eyes of scientists, and other news. Welcome to Face Today. This is the first news media about lucid dreams, sleep paralysis, and other phase states. Are you ready? Lucid dreams useful in treating nightmares. The practice of lucid dreaming is often used in nightmare therapy. The progress made in this area over the past few years is described in an article by Brazilian scientists led by Taina Carla Freitas de Macedo from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte. The studies reviewed by the article have shown that this therapy delivers positive results in reducing the frequency of nightmares, their intensity, and the associated stress. This is primarily due to the fact that lucid dreaming techniques help patients develop critical thinking about the content of their dreams. Becoming aware that they are having a nightmare, a person can stop being afraid of any imaginary threats in their dream, realizing that they do not pose a real danger. Although patients may not always be able to change dream scenes, even belief in control helps them feel confident in their own abilities and relieve anxiety. On the other hand, the scientists also highlighted some studies demonstrating that lack of control in a phase state could aggravate nightmares, turning them into lucid nightmares. These patients require longer therapy in combination with other psychotherapy methods. Do you know how to control your nightmares? Let us know in the comments. This article was published in November 2019 in Frontiers in Psychology magazine. Scientists introduce a new scale for assessing near-death experiences. The first scale for evaluating near-death experiences, the so-called Grayson scale, was developed in 1983. To this day, it has been used to assess the psychometric properties of near-death experiences, NDE, in order to distinguish them from other altered states of consciousness, such as narcotic hallucinations. In November 2020, Belgian scientists led by Charlotte Marshall proposed a new scale based on the information from the latest research. The purpose of these changes is to introduce a common standard in the evaluation of NDEs in the scientific community. Marshall identifies 7 points that distinguish near-death experiences from other similar experiences. The feeling of leaving the body, the presence of a bright light, a feeling of leaving the earthly world or entering a new dimension, feeling like you have passed the point of no return, deciding to return from the experience, being convinced that you have died, passing through a gate or a tunnel. In total, the new scale includes 20 items which were applied to a sample of 403 people who have had a near-death experience in a life-threatening situation. Interestingly, out-of-body experiences were considered a mandatory item on the old Grayson scale, yet it said nothing about a passage through a tunnel or gate till now. What do you think? If near-death experiences are a kind of phase state, is it worthwhile in principle to pay attention to the elements witnessed there? The study was published in November 2020 in the Consciousness and Cognition Journal. Is the military using lucid dreams? In the past decade, articles have appeared in the media claiming that the US military has investigated the possibilities of lucid dreaming. The main reported use has been an alternative treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder in soldiers who had experienced the psychological effects of war. According to researcher Susan Smith, in an article published in the journal Transcultural Psychiatry, inspiration for researching this therapeutic approach can be found in several science fiction films that illustrate this case. Thus, in the Avatar movie, the consciousness of a disabled soldier is separated from his crippled body, and in Inception, the heroes can change people's thoughts by plunging into their dreams. Based on the sci-fi imagery, the author reflects on the potential use of lucid dreaming in the rehabilitation of soldiers with PTSD. In her paper, Smith emphasizes the benefits of this therapy. It's a drug-free and therefore inexpensive treatment that can be applied in a psychotherapeutic setting. Nevertheless, we are yet to know what conclusions the military has come to with regards to this set of techniques. How do you think they could apply phase states? Are there other areas besides veteran rehabilitation? Share your ideas in the comments. The study was published in the journal Transcultural Psychiatry in February 2020. Astral projection through the eyes of scientists. Astral projection is an international out-of-body experience that you can control, according to Nathan Chandler, author of a December 2020 article of HowStuffWorks.com. The term phase state has been used since 2004 to designate similar phenomena. However, not everyone is familiar with the concept. In this article, Chandler cites scientists' arguments supporting the existence of such states. For example, Jane Aspel, a cognitive researcher at Anglia Ruskin University, comments, "An out-of-body experience is a transient experience some people have, while conscious that their self seems to become separated from their body, floats above the body, and looks back down at that body from an elevated location. Astral projection is an intentional out-of-body experience that usually involves the experience that the self can seem to travel far from their body, even to other countries or planets." Aspel explains that, like dreams, astral projection is a product of our consciousness. There is evidence from multiple scientific studies that out-of-body experiences arise because of abnormal functioning of an area of the brain called the temporoparietal junction. This is an area that combines signals from multiple senses to create the model of ourself in the world. Dr. Susan Blackmore, a psychologist and visiting professor at the University of Plymouth in England, reminds readers that the idea is not new and comes from a 19th century mystical system called theosophy. We now know that out-of-body experiences occur when our body schema is disrupted, simulating the part of the brain that builds this inner model. And we can practice playing around with our body senses in this and other ways. Where do you travel during out-of-body experiences? Do you believe in astral projection? Let us know in the comments. Lucid dreams provide a feeling of freshness in the morning. We recently talked about whether lucid dreaming is dangerous for the brain. Some researchers believe that awareness during sleep, due to increased brain activity, may interfere with the restorative function of normal sleep. However, a February 2020 publication by one of the main researchers of lucid dreaming, Michael Schredel, might refute this statement. Under Schredel's guidance, an experiment was conducted involving 149 participants who kept a sleep diary for 5 weeks, studying the techniques of lucid dream induction. The purpose of the experiment was to test whether lucid dreams and increased brain activity affect the quality of sleep, or conversely, whether this hypothesis is erroneous. For this purpose, the scientists choose the controversial technique of sleep fragmentation. This technique uses deliberate periodic awakenings, which, according to scientists, should have been reflected in the participants' well-being in the morning. However, the results of the experiment showed just the opposite. Lucid dreaming not only had no negative effect on the participants' morning state, but on the contrary, increased the likelihood of feeling refreshed. A similar study demonstrating the participants' good mood after a phase state induction has already been discussed here in the recent past. Do you feel tired or refreshed after a phase state experience? The article was published in February 2020 in the journal Clocks and Sleep. Cognitive trainings lead to lucid dreams. Cognitive training is used to develop the processes of awareness, attention, and memory. They have also been used successfully in the practice of lucid dreaming when combined with other techniques. In April 2020, the scientific team of Michelle Carr from the Sleep and Neuropsychology Laboratory of the University of Rochester in England conducted a new experiment using cognitive techniques and external stimulation. In the laboratory, 20 minutes prior to sleep, the participants in the experiment were exposed to audio and visual cues with an interval of 1 minute between them. Next, they had to practice the cognitive technique of paying attention to their thoughts at the moment of registering the cue. By doing so, the participants trained their self-awareness. The control group, on the other hand, received no signals. Out of the cognitive training group, 50% of the participants experienced lucid dreams, which were confirmed by a polysomnograph. In the second group, only 17% of the participants had a successful experience. It turns out that upon falling asleep, we need to not only create an intention to enter the phase state, but also train our brains to do so. Will you use this discovery? Do you think it might help you? The study was published in the journal Psychology of Consciousness, Theory, Research, and Practice. As you can see, our topic is actively developing. In order not to miss new discoveries, right now subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media, where we publish news daily. All links are in the description. See you next week.